welcome you to another episode of Web3 Masterminds hosted by Cryptopolitan and Forward Protocol. Forward Protocol is the WordPress for Web3. We create no-code toolkits to help Web2 businesses integrate with Web3 in a completely seamless, no-code, non-technical environment, just to encourage mass adoption. And I'm really excited this afternoon. We have got Captain Light from Lightyear here with us this afternoon. And welcome, Captain Light. Great to have you here. If you could just introduce yourself, that'd be wonderful.
Sure. Thank you for the introduction. So Lightyear is a blockchain gaming project we had been working on in the past 1 year. We did IDO for the project in the end of 2021, and just 1 month ago we had launched the version 1.0 of the project. So it is a space-based strategy game where users can, collect natural resources from the space and synthesize starships and summon heroes. Starships or heroes are NFTs in the game. Then with this, game assets, users can, form their fleets and conquer the universe. So right now, users can explore the space to get rewards, the play-to-earn rewards from the game, and we plan to add the player-to-player part of the game later this month, so that there will be more interactions between the users, and the game also features socialized gaming experience, which means we are going to support the game guilds or alliances inside the game, so that users can for example stake some of our tokens to form a new alliance and invite other players to join him, and alliances can compete against each other. So in one sentence, I mean, Lightyear is I would say it's a more like a blockchain version of the old game. You probably have heard of the old game, which is 20 years old, web browser-based strategy game, which had been super popular.
Yes, that's right. Very, very popular.
Yeah, it had millions of players online, and yeah, so the Lightyear's goal is, I mean, the current Lightyear game's goal is just to be the blockchain version of it. And also we plan to to create one more game and add it into the product array of Lightyear. So Lightyear will not be just a one game, but it will be a product array of multiple games. Yeah, pretty much. This is the introduction.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I love the concept. I think just as humanity, as we start exploring space and colonizing and looking for assets in space, it's quite a fitting game to be bringing to Web3 and to going from there. So well done. Love the idea.
Yes, thank you.
I wanted to ask you. Can I ask you a question? You said that the old game had millions of users, and obviously you've created a blockchain version now. Have you found it easy to bring users from the old game, the Web2 game, into this Web3 environment?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I think as of today, the adoption of the adoption of crypto assets or the tools of blockchain relatively is still lower than the adoption rate of traditional games. So I think most a random player he will need several hours training in order to be familiarize himself with the basic stuff. For example, how to use MetaMask, how to manage his crypto assets, how to sign a transaction, stuff like this. So yeah, this is what this is the first obstacle. Secondly, I think because in the blockchain game, people are playing with their crypto assets. Basically, well, we don't want to say the game is real money game that people are winning or losing money. This is not our goal, but our goal is just that when user play the game, gaining real rewards or and being able to transfer the value of his of the game. Sorry, I mean. Basically, our goal is not letting people, winning or losing money from the game, but basically, our goal is, we want people to be able to transfer the value of their game assets. Basically, when you play a traditional game, you could spend, hundreds of hours playing the game, and but one day you no longer you no longer like the game. That's the game assets you have accumulated in the game become meaningless. It doesn't. Yeah,
That's quite right.
Cannot. Yeah, you cannot collect the value back. Yeah, but with the Web3 version of the game, or being a blockchain game, so players, it's relatively easier for players to trade the game assets. For example, if you have a fleet of high level starships or heroes, you can just sell them to another player. So so that I think it's just I mean in favor of the interest of the players.
Yeah, it gives it a lot of utility.
Yes, exactly.
Which is
also
amazing.
Yeah, also I think with the Web2 with Web2 version of the game, there are a lot of ways to promote it. For example, you can just list your game in some of the game platforms, or you can just use advertisement to attract users. But I think these stuff are not very ready for Web3 games yet, as of today. Yeah, because first of all, they are not a game platform like Steam or like Steam or Epic Games yet. Secondly, I think as of today, the advertising platforms are not very friendly to Web3 games yet. But this also means opportunities. So basically, the newcomers of the Web3 games, if you can develop your own way to attract users, to grow your community, you will gain from it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it is all about community in Web3 and developing those communities and bringing people in. And I think it's a wonderful way to do it through gaming, where people are getting entertainment and having fun. And as you say, building some assets they can actually transfer down the line. So they're not losing the valuable time that they put into the game. So that aspect is actually wonderful in Web3 games. So can I ask you, Captain Light, can you please take me through a typical user experience? Somebody coming to the platform for the first time, interacting with the game, what would they do? How would they interact? What do they need to set up? And how do they actually get the benefit out of utilizing the assets that you've put together?
Oh, yeah, sure. I think a typical user, when he comes to our game, he can either to choose to be a idle player or be a active player. If he choose to be an idle player, he can just stake some crypto assets into the game to get the mining rewards, and also he can rely on a auto exploration system we had developed. Yeah, basically playing the game for him is just like 1 or 2 transactions per day, so it's very, very laid back. However, if he is active, if he chooses to be an active player, he can just do more micro management on his on his fleets, and he can just do more calculation to maximize his return from the different strategies. So our game is not very heavy on graphics. Yeah, basically the when you actually this is just like we just trying to simulate the process of managing fleets in the universe. Basically, in order to fly from one coordinate of the universe to another coordinate of the universe, it takes time. So so yeah, which means basically the fun of the game is not just fancy graphics, fancy animation, or battles. Most of the time, players just are waiting for their fleets flying from one point of the universe to another point of the universe. However, over the time, if the user uh, execute the right strategy, he over the time he will have an edge over other players. Some users will enjoy a process like this.
So it's got a lot of strategic, a lot of strategy, a lot of planning. I would imagine,
yes.
planning to get from one coordinate to the other is, especially if it is over a long period of time, does take a lot of strategy. And we've got, people listening that would be either idle players or active players. So some people listening would never have interacted with a blockchain game before. So it's really interesting. Maybe you could explain a little bit about the mining and staking aspects as an opportunity for new people coming into the game.
Oh yeah, sure. So for mining and staking, we are actually we just pivoted the game mode last week. Yeah, but we are doing something that is suggested by the player, by the community. So basically, before last week, it was that users need to stake different types of crypto assets. For example, BUSD or BNB into the game in order to mine for commodity tokens, which are basically resources in the universe. Then users can use these resources in order to synthesize their starships or just convert these resources into the LC token, which is a platform token of the game, governance token of the game. However, we found that this game mode wasn't working very well in practice. The reason is that the basically we are generating fixed amount of LC tokens per day. So which means if more players come to the game and they will, if the more players stake more crypto assets, they will generate more commodity tokens. Then the conversion rate between the commodity token to the LC token becomes unfavorable. So this is.
That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, we had to spend some time to change it, and but luckily, I mean, after we made the change, I mean, users start to like the staking part, and the game starts to gaining more users. Yeah, basically what we did is that instead of staking different crypto assets to generate commodity tokens, now we just right now the staking just contains two parts. So the part one is that you stake LC tokens in order to get one of the 4 commodity tokens, which is energy. So basically, yeah, this encourages people to stake more LC tokens, which helps the LC token price going up. The part 2 is that we still allow user to stake different crypto assets into the game. However, we bridge these crypto assets to third party, staking votes. Yeah, basically we use this money to use third-party asset management platform to generate interest, and then we use the generated interest to buy back LC tokens and send LC tokens as rewards to users. So with this, with the part two, so users basically they can still stake, different types of crypto assets, but they are getting LC, and which also helps because of the buying back process. It also helps to the LC price going up again. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So this is the token staking part, and we also have the NFT staking part, which I had mentioned earlier, which is auto exploration for the idle users. Basically the idea is that after user synthesize or purchase NFT from the market, they can just send out their fleets to execute commands that last from 3 to 14 days. Between 3 to 14 days. Basically, under the hood, it's just like user stakes the NFT for 3 to 14 days in order to get mining rewards.
Okay, that's. And tell me, does the staking increase your reputation in the game?
Staking, sorry, what?
Does it increase your reputation as a player in the game? The more tokens you have staked?
Right now we don't have a reputation system yet, but basically, by doing the staking, users are just getting commodity tokens, which is resources inside the game. So the resource tokens, they are just utility tokens. Users can use them for different purposes. For example, to synthesize new starships, to upgrade their base, or just consume this the energy token as energy when they execute commands.
I was looking through your white paper and the website, and I see you've got a lot of very reputable partners, big partners, and an amazing roadmap. Could you just tell us a little bit about your partnerships and the roadmap and what we can look forward to down the track, down 2022?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Right now we just want to do more partnerships with game guilds or NFT platforms. With game guilds, basically if they bring users to us, we are giving them referral bonus. The game actually has a built-in referral system. So if you invite your friend to play the game, whatever in-game assets he mined from the game, you will get 7% of it. And if your friend invite more friends, you get tier 2 referral bonus. So the referral bonus, they are rewarded in form of commodity tokens. However, all commodity tokens they can be converted into LC token every 24 hours. So in the end of the day, you're getting LC. And secondly, we want to partner with more NFT platforms, basically helping us to sell the NFT. Right now, all the proceeds from selling the NFTs, our team doesn't keep it. We just the smart contracts just automatically will convert this revenue from selling NFT into LC token and burn the LC token. So basically, LC is deflationary. And if the NFT platform partner with us, basically their users get a discount from selling the NFT, from buying the NFT, and also they also get commissions from us.
Are you finding that a lot of your new players coming into Lightyear are through that referral process?
I would say it's starting to pick up. Basically, right now I think we just finished pivoting the game modes. I think also we are trying to add more features down the road. I mean, right now we are not actually very actively doing marketing for the game yet. Just because we want to further optimize the token economics, then we are looking for a point that we are very comfortable that we are ready. Then we will spend more energy doing marketing. Also, right now the game is running on Binance Smart Chain (BSC) right now. BSC is perhaps not the best choice for the game. Yeah, just because our game is an on-chain game. The gas is expensive. The gas is expensive. User need to spend in average $1 to $2 for a transaction. So I think after we make more changes, we want to launch a game in another blockchain that are cheaper than BSC and more user friendly for active players. So perhaps Polygon or some other blockchains. Then after we launch the game in another blockchain, then we can do more marketing to attract more users. We will be ready for growth there.
Yeah, I think you're right. As more and more games come to the blockchain, it gets more competitive. Users start becoming more picky, and they want more cost-effective solutions. And gas is quite a limiting factor in especially if you are an active player and buying and selling a lot of NFTs and interacting in the game in quite a heavy way. It can be quite prohibitive. But just a flyer. If you had to think, let's just picture Lightyear 5 years down the line. What are your dreams and hopes and aspirations for it? What do you see for Lightyear?
Oh yeah, sure. So our plan is first of all the current Lightyear game, which maybe let us call it original Lightyear game, is a space strategy game. We just want to make the game more and more playable, and adding more game modes, and grow the user base. Hopefully this original Lightyear game it can be as impactful as old game in the blockchain world. Then besides the original Lightyear game, I had mentioned that we plan to add one more game into the product metrics by the end of the year. Right now we already have the design, so it will be city simulation game, something like a blockchain version of SimCity. And the plan is that we can launch this game by the end of this year. Also, yeah, down the road in 5 years, if everything works well, then we will add one game into the product metrics every year. So in the end,
it sounds good.
The LC token will be supported by multiple games, not just by one game. So hopefully, players who are holding the LC tokens right now, they will get a very good return in 5 years.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. On Forward side, when Mr. Key and I chat about what we're building, and Forward basically builds infrastructure projects for Web3. So our whole functionality is to allow Web2 companies to utilize Web3 tools without the complexity. We just make it very, very simple. So what we're always thinking about is, like, how can we simplify the process, the first thing? And then secondly, how do we educate the community so that they actually come in and utilize the tools, and that they understand that it's very easy to do that and to function within the ecosystem. And so I wanted to ask you, with regards to Web3 and what you guys are doing and how you see the future in Web3, how important do you think the education side of it is in bringing new users, fresh users into the gaming space? And what sort of ideas do you think we could utilize to educate them quicker, to make it simpler, to make it easier for them to understand?
Sure. In my opinion, the major difference between the Web2 product or Web3 product is that the ownership of the data. So basically, with Web2 product, when user want to use a new product, he need to register register for a new account to fill in different information, and this information or this data will be stored in a centralized server managed by the game company, and the game company actually monetize from this data. They just either trying to sell you more game assets, or just use this data to predict what you like and show you some advertisement. However, Web3 games or Web3 products are different. So first of all, there's no game accounts. So most of our Web3 products, there's no game accounts. So basically, your wallet address is your account. You come to the product, you don't need to register. You just start to use the product, and most importantly, all the data generated are just public and transparent. You can even import the data you generated in another product into the current game, in terms of either tokens or NFTs or just other forms of data. So you can even, as a player, you can even monetize from the data you have. One example is that for example, some of the blockchain projects, they are doing airdrops to OpenSea users. If you had traded in OpenSea, you get some other tokens. So basically, users are monetizing from the data. Yeah, this is the difference between the Web2 and the Web3. I would say mindset.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
it's all about that ownership, isn't it? So Web3, you have a lot more ownership and control of your data and your assets. So
yes. I think as a developer, as a game company, we should always remember this mindset that the data belongs to the user, and
quite right.
And we should build our game around the data user have. So basically, when you build a Web2 product, the process is that you set some rules, and the user come to the game to play the game and to get game assets. Yeah, but Web3 products, the process will be that you sell or issue some game assets to the user. User owns the game assets. Then, based on the game assets, you build the game. You build the game in favor of the user. So make sure users are gaining in the process of holding the game assets. I think if we want to do user education, we should always focus on assets. Basically, let user understand that the assets they are having they are holding in their hand are very valuable, and then based on after the education, then hopefully consensus can be set up that users will have faith in the value of the either a token or NFT. Then after the game assets, I would say the price or the value going up, more players will say that the game company is doing the right thing, that they will like the product to join the community, and I would say the project will be stronger and stronger.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think to focus on community and the data that the user has, because I think also when you find that users are getting value, it attracts other people, they spread the word, they bring people into the games, etc. So when we look at the industry as a whole, what are your thoughts on the current state of NFTs as they are, and where do you think that's going to evolve to over the next year?
Oh yeah, sure. So I think today's NFT market, because I regularly check OpenSea every day. So basically every day I would look at the ranking, see what projects are trending per day today, and I think as of today, I would say 80% of the NFTs are just art NFTs, are just pictures which basically doesn't have enough utilities. I would say down the road in a few years, I think most of the NFTs will be utility based. So basically, game supporting an NFT with a game is one of the the approach. Is one of the approach, and there might be other approaches to support the value of NFT. But I think the whole industry is still trying to discover it. Basically for NFT based games, I would say basically the traditional way of publishing a game or releasing a game is that the game developer find a operating company, then to launch the game in some of the app stores, and to make sure the game have good ranking in the app store, and to buy some ads to bring users. That's a traditional process. I would say but I would say in the world of blockchain game or the NFT game, better a new approach of promoting a game would be the developing company develops the game, but maybe not finishing developing the game first yet. They can sell the NFTs and let user like their NFT first, and to get consensus around the NFT, and build games, build one game or even more games around the NFTs to support the value of the NFT, then grow their community, gradually. I would say this is what, from my point of view, what are the difference of running a Web2 game and a Web3 game.
I think, yeah, well, I suppose the secondary market is really important as well, because as you said, as people, go through a game and then they might get bored and decide to switch if they've got the assets. Do you think it's important that the secondary market is available on like an open platform, or should the NFT assets be for sale just within the game environment?
Oh, sure. I think that it depends. I would say it depends. First of all, I think trading of NFTs or trading of game assets is one of the very important part of our products Lightyear. So I think a typical user would spend maybe 30 to 40% of their time, just doing trading. And trading itself is a game.
It is. You're right.
Yeah. But for your question, whether we should have rely on public, platform or a private platform, my answer would be, it depends. I think in our game there are major assets and minor assets. The major assets, for example, LC, the governance token, I think should be traded publicly. In whatever platform, either Uniswap or PancakeSwap, or even some centralized exchanges. For NFTs, it depends. If the NFT if it is a cornerstone of the game, that or if it's the cornerstone of multiple games, then it should be in OpenSea, because by trading it in OpenSea, you are getting a ranking, and it will help the developer attracting more users from outside of the community. However, for some of the internal assets, the minor assets, which are not so expensive, that are more consumed more frequently inside the game, my opinion is that you should have an internal market, which first of all has lower trading fees. Secondly, maybe a more favorable interface for user to trade just right inside the game. Basically, as a game designer, you need to make you need to design what are the major assets, what are the minor assets.
That would make sense, that somebody comes in and accumulates minor assets and then can trade up for major assets and get more value and utility like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a question about the metaverse. There's been so much talk and hype, and I know we're at the initial sort of stages of where it is. Have you got any thoughts, or what are your thoughts on the metaverse and how gaming and NFTs will fit into that?
Oh, sure. So I think, yeah, metaverse became a very hot topic for several reasons. First of all, because of the pandemic, people are spending more time, in front of the computer than in the real life. And then secondly, I think it's just a demand from the hardware companies. So basically, in the past 10 years, smartphone had been the major revolution that brought us a lot of new products. But I think the whole industry, I mean the internet or the game company, game industry really need a new platform. So Metaverse appeared at the right time. So become the stuff that everyone wanted. Then the third reason is I think just just because of the development of blockchain. So the past blockchain products were not variable. So for example, the Bitcoin is just a token. It's a you cannot see what blockchain looks like, what Bitcoin looks like, what's a utilization of blockchain. But with NFT, you get a real image that then you know what the assets looks like. Then to further visualize the blockchain assets, I think we need a metaverse. So yeah,
they all work together.
Yeah. So they all work together. Then metaverse become a real thing, and it's getting closer and closer to us. But I would say that what's your question? Oh, sorry, your question was what's the role of blockchain that NFT plays in metaverse, right? So basically, if the metaverse doesn't have blockchain, so basically the assets you own in the metaverse, they are just not really owned by you. They are just owned by the game company or the platform company, whoever runs the metaverse. So it comes back again to the ownership of the data. So with blockchain, you, for the first time, users can own their data, can monetize from their data, and your assets in the metaverse becomes real assets. So that's what I think. Why blockchain?
I agree with you. And you know what I'd like to ask you is about the metaverse and augmented reality. So, for example, you and I are sitting talking to each other now, and it's not really you or me. It's just a pixelated version of us projected onto a screen. But in time, as the assets develop and the metaverse develops, we might be able to move around more freely in our normal environments in a metaverse type structure. And I would imagine with gaming that would be a big part of it, in whether it's with treasure hunts or collecting gaming assets or NFTs or what have you. How do you think that is going to help as a catalyst to bring more people into the space?
How the new form of interaction will bring in new users? Yeah, sure. I think I think it's not a job of, maybe it's not a job of blockchain. Yeah, basically in order for us to have more rich types of interaction in metaverse, I think first of all it relies on the development of hardware. So we need a new, for example, headsets or new VR technology that can display us high dimension pictures or video streams. Secondly, I think it also relies on the speed of internet. So if 5G or 6G helps us to get faster data. So yeah, it will help. Then of course, if all these all these pre requirements became ready, then I think I would say some of the genius will design new products that can provide us better interactions. Then with the new types of interactions, it will allow us to design new types of game modes. Then with new game modes, I think, but I would say no matter what types of interaction it is, the assets are still an important part. No matter it's the real world or the virtual world. So yeah, basically when you interact with people in a socialized experience, your identity or your auxiliaries that you have, for example, a hat, either a hat or a watch or jewelry. I mean, in the virtual world, people want to own it, and then blockchain will be useful.
Yeah, I think it's a very important point that you bring up about the social side of it. The more we connect socially in a virtual environment in the metaverse, the better it'll be. And I know, look, at the moment, we're right in that sort of phase where the metaverse is all hype and there's not much there really. And then like everything, it'll drop off a little bit and then the builders will start. And it'll take a couple of years to actually build out the actual infrastructure to get the hardware right, etc. But I mean, I can see a lot of very exciting possibilities for Lightyear and that whole idea that you're creating with a metaverse in mind down the line.
Yeah, thank you.
As it evolves, you evolve with it and go from there.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to ask you, what do you think? I mean, GameFi is pretty new. It's just the last couple of years we've had a couple of really big successes and what have you. What do you think the bottlenecks are now to really creating an explosion and bringing in like millions of new users into this amazing space? Because let's face it, being able to control your assets, to control your data is actually very appealing, especially if you can spend the same time you spend in Web 2, have the same fun, and at the end of it, have a better utility, have more benefit. I mean, why wouldn't you come in here? So what do you see now as the bottlenecks? What's stopping that happening?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I think as of today, most of the very successful blockchain games, they are basically relying too much on play to earn. Basically, a lot of players come to the game not for enjoying themselves, but for earning money. I would say this is double blade, sword. So first of all, it helps the product to gain enough traffic when it starts. But also, when there are not enough, new users coming to the game, sometimes the bubble will burst. So people who are holding the assets in the game will be frustrated and leave the game. So I think the bottleneck, first of all, I think developing a good game takes time. So for
that's correct.
Yeah. So the AAA games in the traditional space, usually it's very common that it takes 5 years or even 10 years to develop a AAA game. Yeah, but blockchain had been very new, so the phenomenon product hasn't just appeared yet. So people are right now even the most successful game is just took 2 to 3 years. It didn't get enough time to evolve into a masterpiece yet. This is one bottleneck. Secondly, I think it's just the infrastructure is not ready yet. So as of today, most of the blockchains are still expensive and slow. So yeah, I mentioned that in Binance Smart Chain. Right now, it's the most popular platform for blockchain games, but still, it's $1 or $2 per transaction.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lot. It's
So
quite prohibitive for a lot of people.
yeah, exactly. Of course, I can also use other blockchains or even for example, set up my centralized server, but it's not very blockchain native. I mean, I would say also it's not very ready for most of the game players, game developers. So my team, because we had the technology, we had the knowledge for writing smart contracts, but I think most of the game studios, they don't have these types of the expertise yet. Also, I would say also the security of the crypto assets is also very important. So it's very common that nowadays it's very common that some hackers just stole millions of even more money from the blockchain game or DeFi products. I think it's just more. It's just very very important to make sure the smart contracts are safe and doesn't have any bugs. I think this is also one bottleneck.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think protecting the user goes a long way, because obviously the next question that we have is regulation. And if we can protect the user and show them, especially with play to earn, I mean, regulation must be something that could also create a stumbling block as we go forward if gaming companies aren't careful. So how do you see regulation in the space playing out and being a part of actually opening up the industry and helping it grow?
Oh, I think today it's a very gray area, I would say. Most of the blockchain projects, if they choose to do IDOs, they usually, including my projects, just register in offshore islands. Then also, I mean, yeah, technically, when people play to earn, the game become a real money game. So real money game technically is not allowed in a lot of countries. So basically, whenever you spend money in the game, you should not be able to withdraw money from the game. So yeah, I would say today's blockchain game, because of these issues, is still it's still a small it's still within small group of players. So first of all, obviously these type of games are not designed for children. Anyone who is below 18 years old. Yeah. Secondly, I think wherever regulation is not allowed that doesn't allow this type of game. For example, China or United States. I mean, so the product should just ban IP addresses from these countries. Yeah, our product just banned any of the users from China. I would say down the road in the future, it may be possible that some compatible gaming platforms will show up. So these platforms will do the basic stuff. For example, KYC the user or banning users from restricted countries. Then the game developers can just release game in this platform, and let the platform doing his job in managing the regulation related stuff.
I think as money flows into the sector, and the regulatory watchdogs will definitely start focusing more on it and putting more emphasis on getting a safer environment so that it is regulated right across the space. Well, Captain Light, it's been really interesting chatting to you. You're a very fascinating guy, and I love your concept with space and what you guys are doing with Lightyear. Maybe in a couple of minutes you could just wrap up and give me some final thoughts about the industry, about your product, and just leave it there with the users.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so I would say comparing to the game industry, the blockchain game as of today is still very small. There are still a lot of potential for growth. I would say in a few years, some phenomenon product will show up and totally change the rules of today and totally change the industry. There will be a revolution in front of us. I look forward to it, and I also try my best to be part of it. Be more practical. Yeah, I just want to work really hard on our product and to adding more features to the current game and to make better future games. And hopefully our community will grow together with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. I can see that you've got a long-term vision, and that's important. That's what we think at Ford as well, as we're building for the future. And if we do that properly and we put the foundation in place, we certainly can contribute to this beautiful environment that is blockchain and what it can bring to everybody in a much better utility and leveling the playing fields and just creating an inclusive platform. So thanks again, Captain Light. Really, really nice chatting to you, and good luck with your project. Look forward to seeing your success. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.